Welcome back. This is car number 5, and we're going to continue our pitching series here where I break down and show you guys how they work in MLB'16 The Show. Of course, we still have the same 4 pitching interfaces we had last year, but they work a little bit different in my opinion, and I just kind of wanted to, give you guys some pointers as well. Next, we're going to be talking about meter. Alright, so before we get into this, of course, you have to go to options and switch it to meter. Really no other options besides that. Alright, so before we get into this, I'm going to say meter is moderately more difficult than last year. I still think it's a good interface to use, and of course it still is impacted by attributes. So, how does this actually work? Let me explain it to you. You have your control, individual pitch control for each pitch. You have like four seam break, velo, then control. So whatever pitch you choose, say I choose four seamer, alright, and I have good control on that pitch, it's going to make the meter easier to execute. Okay? I missed my spot there. Now, what walks per 9 affects is how consistent you are within the confines of your pitch selection and your intended target. So what does that mean? So I try to aim down here in a way and say I get a perfect pitch. If you have walks per 9, chances are you're going to hit that pitch, especially with precision gameplay input being new to MLB'16 The Show and implemented. It does have a huge impact on meter pitching. Alright, you saw I missed it slightly there. I think I just gave up a home run, I almost did. But you see I missed it slightly there. A pitcher with worse walks per 9, that thing could have went up here, could have went over here, wherever. So just keep that in mind. That is the difference between walks per 9 and control. I don't know if people realize that. Also, something to keep in mind is I am just trying to put as little effort as possible. If I want to give full effort, I will tap X up here and then release it back down there. Now you see I got that as a perfect pitch. It went right to the target, and I think that is more of a indication that precision gameplay input is for real, and they really meant that your inputs are going to be more rewarded. However, your bad inputs are going to be punished. That all being said, the attributes are still a factor, so don't just think you can get any pitcher and get perfect pitches all game. So also, let's talk about breaking balls. Breaking balls naturally are harder to spot in the game, and generally pitchers do not have good control over them. Usually it's in the 50s, 60s. Their fastball control is usually like 70 or higher. So even a pitcher with like Juan Marichal, it can be a little bit more difficult to spot that curveball, and curveballs are just usually more inconsistent to begin with. So just keep that in mind. We'll try to put minimal effort in this pitch. We got a perfect delivery, and I want to see where this goes, where it actually landed. Well, actually, let's restart this. So yeah, it hit our intended target. We got a perfect release. So if you get perfect releases, especially with pitches with good walks per 9, yeah, you're going to hit your spot more often than not. However, it's going to be easier to get perfect releases with better control pitchers. So just keep that in mind. If you have somebody with low walks per 9 and you're really good at the meter, you might be able to get away with it. But keep in mind it's going to be a lot more difficult, especially with their control and walks per 9 attribute. Alright, so some other things about meter. Again, if you put max effort into it, you're not only going to increase velo, you're going to increase break. Okay, so say for curveball, you want to get maximum break on it, you want to hold it down. That being said, it's a little bit more difficult to get perfect releases. So, I think I pretty much gave you guys the rundown on how pitching meter works. Let's kind of talk about precision gameplay input. I already talked about it a little bit. Anyways, in my opinion, I still think meter is a solid option nonetheless, but with precision gameplay input, being implemented this year, I think analog is going to have the slight advantage, especially if you're an online player and you're trying to be as effective and accurate as possible with your pitches. I think meter is a little bit more difficult to use, because even with a pitcher like Juan Marichal, I barely missed there and it was way inside. So just keep that in mind. If you guys like meter, just stay with it. I think it's a little bit more difficult though. I think it's a little bit more difficult though this year. You guys might want to try analog. Perfect release there. It even missed when I got a perfect, but it was pretty close. Alright, so in a nutshell, meter pitching, pretty similar to last year. It's been in the show ever since its inception. It's been the staple pitching interface in the game. So not much has changed as far as how the interface actually works. It's still heavily based off attributes. However, with the implementation of the precision gameplay input, it is my honest opinion that this is more difficult to use this year. So just beware. Just beware, and you guys might want to try even pulse or analog. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is Cardinal Bird 5. Let me know when you guys finally try out meter and what you guys think. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's Cardinal Bird 5 signing out. Peace.